It's time for Ask Mike Mondays. Mike answers one listener's question every week. Here's Michael Becker and Paul Peebles.
Welcome to Ask Mike Mondays. I'm your host, Paul Peebles, National Underwriter for Old Capital. And joining me today, smartest guy in the room, Mr. Michael Becker.
Hey, Paul.
Michael, I didn't see your name on the ballot, but I knew as honorary governor of Texas, because you own so much real estate and properties, that you didn't win, you didn't lose in November.
I'll take my unelected official title over actually having to be the governor of Texas. That sounds like a horrible job to someone with my personality.
So if you know Michael is a longtime banker, and he has gone from loaning money on commercial real estate and apartments specifically to owning multifamily properties and apartments specifically. So he's done a great job. He's gone from 16 doors to almost 7,000 doors. So Mike is a great person to share his information with. So we appreciate him coming in and spending some time with us on Ask Mike Mondays. So question that came up, aside from brokers, where else can you obtain off-market deals? Are there any websites, apps, or any resources available to that? Do you know that could be helpful?
So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's generally no shortcuts in life, and this business is certainly not an exception to that rule. Things that are easy tend not to be fruitful. So there's no real secret list of off-market deals, or, I was dumb enough a few years ago, signed up on a couple of those off-market Facebook pages, and it's all just trash in my experience. Not saying that there's not an exception to that rule here or there, but generally speaking, stuff like that just doesn't work. So, the brokers control the deals, at least the vast majority of the deals. So that's where the preponderance of the opportunity will come for high quality deals. So getting those relationships, we've talked extensively about that on this podcast before. So forming those relationships is certainly it. So now we have purchase deals off market direct from different owners. And kind of go through the list. One of them was I lent money to a gentleman, and he sold us 2 deals as a package. So I had a previous relationship with them. That's how we got that deal. The other one that comes to mind was my business partner actually helped this group buy the property several years before, and they just needed out because they needed capital. So we were able to buy it from there. And I can't think of another one that we didn't have a broker involved in off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, but most of them you have brokers involved.
So we've done a lot of other deals off market, but there's been brokers involved. So
why is that? How does that work? I don't understand that.
So when you're in a transaction, there's obviously a counterparty to every deal. There's a buyer and there's a seller. So if you're a buyer, the counterparty is the seller in the deal. So then you're naturally skeptical of the other person. So having a broker as an intermediary certainly kind of mitigates a lot of it, because at any deal at any time, there's always going to be a point of contention over something, and the broker's there to kind of mediate and smooth it over. The other thing the broker does is it bring legitimacy to you as a buyer, as a group. They give can kind of vouch for you and your credibility and your ability and track record to get these deals done. One, and then two, they also kind of legitimize the price of that they're paying, because the seller is like, man, if I just take this offer, am I really getting a good deal? I haven't explored the marketplace, so that broker can either, one, give them just assurance that, the only offer they got is a good offer and they should take it, or two, maybe kind of run a little small mini off-market marketing process where they bring in the top, 3 or 4 likely buyers and select one that way. So they just kind of bring, one, transfer credibility from the broker to you if they vouch for you, that they'll actually, increase the likelihood of you actually getting awarded the deal, or two, in the seller's mind, kind of give them, some cover to the thing that the price they're getting is a good enough price. They should be willing to accept it versus going out and fully marketing the asset as well. So those are kind of some of my thoughts on that topic.
Well, how about some of these real estate gurus are telling people to send out these yellow legal letters saying, we have somebody that's a cash buyer that wants to buy your $15 million property.
Dear Mr. SPI Advisory, I want to buy your property on such and such street. Yeah, that we get those on occasion. That's just not going to work on anything of size with any level of sophisticated ownership group. I'm not saying that won't work on an 8-unit or 6-unit or 12-unit or maybe a 20-unit, but if you want to buy a 200-unit apartment complex, I promise you most of the brokers in town are calling that owner all the time. So why would they sell it to somebody that sends them a yellow letter that addresses it to the LLC's name. That's just not a very good thing to do. It's not very effective. So, one of the things I think I said on recently a few times is, my biggest cost anymore in my life is opportunity cost. So if I spend time on one thing, it's at the expense of something else, whether professionally or, spending time with the family and kids and things like that. So that's something that I take very, very dear. So as you get in this business, you need to be judicious in what you spend your time on. And you need to focus, in my mind, on things that have a higher likelihood of success. So the people that go down the rabbit holes, sending yellow letters, looking at the off-market forums with some, 2-bit wholesaler on Facebook forum that's selling off-market deals, you're doing that at the expense of actually developing relationships that could be more likely to lead to successful deals, like with the brokers, for example.
Let's go back to blocking and tackling to meet the brokers. Can you give me some things that, say, you've done or you've seen people that have been successful at this business have done to meet the brokers to get them to show you the deals, just besides getting on the list?
Yeah. So first and foremost, get on the list, right? You need to get on the list and you see every deal. And you need to, kind of do some basic level analysis on these deals. And when you start out, you just need, you need at bats. You need to look at pitches after pitches after pitches, use a baseball analogy. So the more stuff you look at, the better this is going to be. And then, one day it just kind of clicks. This clicks, the next thing clicks. So do that. Then, if once you kind of get there, a lot of people we've seen successful have joined a mentoring program. In there, you meet a lot of other people that actually have done real estate transactions and been successful leads, and then you can kind of mirror and piggyback on them, potentially, being a KP or just being a passive, maybe signing on a note, maybe co-sponsoring a deal. Those are kind of generally the progressions that we see other people that are successful do. One of the things, the simplest things I like to say is, for example, about a month ago, Marcus and Millichap held a multifamily forum in Dallas-Fort Worth, and they do that in all the major cities across the country. And who's there? It's every broker that works at Marcus and Millichap. So you spend $250, or you go to the Old Capital Conference. That was another good example. That was back in September. You spent, $300-400 to come to the Old Capital Conference, and who was there? How many brokers are at our conference, Paul?
All of them?
All of them, right? So they all were there, basically. So if you want to meet all the brokers in town in one place at one day, you spend $400. What is that worth? And time, your opportunity cost is great in this life. So if you can compress timelines, don't be so cheap. Spend a few $100, go to a conference, get in a conversation. And then when you do that, you can then follow up. So when you've been on a deal in the future, at least you can reference, hey, we met at this conference at this day and we talked about whatever. That kind of personalizes this business. So that's really kind of the blocking and tackling, the best way of meeting people. This is, again, I've said this many times, this is not a business you can do behind your computer. You got to get out, you got to get network, you got to go places, because people will do business with people they know, like, and trust. And I've yet to have anyone show up to my house or my office and give me money or a deal. I have to go out and get it in some form or fashion.
You're kidding me. That's not how it happens?
Not how it happens. There's, back to my original statement, there's not an easy button in this business. It's like anything in life. You want to lose weight, you know what you got to do? You got to eat less and move more, right? So there's no, you could take all these other little magic pills, but at the end of the day, you got to eat less and move more. So that's the same thing in apartment business. You want to buy more deals, you got to get out and get networked and talk to more and more people. You got to see more and more deals. You got to get more at bats, and you hit 300, you go to the Hall of Fame. So I don't even like baseball, and that was my last baseball analogy for this this podcast, I guess.
So if people wanted to know a little bit more about SPI and that SPI Advisory, tell us a little bit more about what you guys do.
Yeah, so we really do two things. The vast majority of what we do is just we raise money and buy deals. So we're an apartment syndicator. So my job is to find high quality deals, and then once we get those secured, we'll go put them out, raise capital to investors. And then the other thing we do is if you have $3-4 million or more and you want to own your own deal, we also will do some advisory services where we kind of leverage our relationships, our experience, and then kind of run the transaction. So basically kind of get you from, finding the deal and, getting it closed. So if you want more information, go to www.spiadvisory.com, fill out the contact us page. I'm always happy to have a 10 or 15 minute telephone call with listeners of the podcast.
Sounds great. Some great information, Michael. We appreciate it. Again, Michael Becker, smartest guy in the room. I'm Paul Peebles. Have a great day.